Well, hello. We're going to highlight in this video some of the courses from the upcoming USAT Multisport Nationals. Specifically, we're going to show you the Standard Duathlon and Aquabike course. And we're going to also give you a quick tutorial on how to use these courses and view them as a moving video file in Google Earth. So to begin, the first thing you need to do is download Google Earth Pro, which is a free download for PC and I believe a Mac. The second thing you want to download the Google Earth files. These are the Cunningham Standard Do and Aquabike 1lap 20k.kmz and the Cunningham Standard Do and Aquabike 20lap tour file. Both these files can be found on the official USA Triathlon Multisports Facebook page. These are not click and play files. They have to be used with Google Earth. A couple other things. These similar Omaha National files can be found for the DL Sprint Duathlon as well as the runs for both the Standard and DL Sprint events, as well as the Townsville Multisport World Championships Standard and Sprint DL Duathlon, as well as the Aquabike and long distance triathlon files for the bike and all the runs. Again, found on the Multisports Facebook page. All these courses are available in .gpx format, which is used in many interactive bike trainers. Finally, I've put all these courses on Ride with GPS, and that's a mobile app. Unfortunately, you won't be able to view these videos that I'm about to show on a phone. Most important though, these are not official maps. They're only taken off the maps provided by the event websites. And it's up to the individual to always check the official websites for the most up-to-date course maps. And which you're going to do right here. This is the USA Triathlon event website map, and this is again the Standard Duathlon. You see by the blue line, we exit the park onto Lake Cunningham Road, onto 72nd Street, onto Bennington Road, turn around, repeat down 72nd, onto Lake Cunningham, and back to transition for a loop of 20k. Of course, we're going to repeat that a second time for a total distance of 40k. Now let's see what this looks like in Google Earth. I'm going to maximize and minimize the screen so you can see some of the things I'm about to show. The first thing you notice, I've already downloaded the Cunningham Standard Do and Aquabike files. There's the first file with the dots next to it, and there's the tour file with a little video camera next to it. Next thing you want to know is that imagery data is sometimes taken at different times of the year. So you want to kind of click on that lower left-hand corner, and that will open up a slider on the upper left-hand corner. Slide that all the way over to the right, and you'll see we changed the imagery all the way up to February of 2024. But that doesn't mean that all the images are taken in February. You notice the different colors in the map. Well, what happens is different times they've taken different imagery. So for the most part, it's the most up-to-date imagery. You want to go back now to those files I mentioned, and taking that one with the dots next to it, the first file, you want to right-click on that and go to Properties. And under Properties, you'll see Style and Color. What you want to do is pick a nice color for the route. I picked red because that's what it shows on the event website, and I picked a nice thick line of 3.0. That just shows up really well when we do the tour. Hit OK. I'm going to go back to that same file, right-click again, and show the elevation profile. Now what this does is open up a nice elevation, and you'll see as I move the cursor that as I go along the course and along the profile, it will give me the elevation, gradient, and distance of every section along the course. This is going to come in really useful when you play the tour. Finally, I'm going to minimize this a little bit so we get a good view of the entire map. You want to go up to the Tools bar and under Options and over to the Touring tab. And under there you're going to see two things, camera tilt angle and camera range. The tilt angle kind of shows the obliqueness of the camera against the earth. I picked 65 degrees. You could play with this to show you a little bit more horizontal as more vertical. It's up to the individual. There's also the camera range. That's the height of the camera above the earth. I picked 200 meters, which is a good distance. But again, you could play with this to do what you feel like is the best viewing angle and distance. So hit OK there. All right, we're about ready to begin. we're going to double click on that file that had the camera next to it, the Cunningham Tour file. And as we do that, we're going to zoom in down to the transition area. And what's going to happen is you're going to see the mount line there. And the tour is going to begin shortly, but I'm going to try to keep up with the cursor so that you could see as you're following that profile on the bottom what that gradient and distance is along each section of the course. Now we're coming out of the Park Road itself and we're going on to Lake Cunningham Road. Important thing to note here, we have both lanes of Lake Cunningham to use, but we're only staying in the left lane. Now this might seem kind of odd to some people used to riding and driving on the right lane, but this worked out best for the course design, and maybe we're getting some athletes who are going to Australia ready for driving and riding on the left hand side of the road. And now you'll see as I move that cursor along the profile, you'll see the gradient. We're doing a bit of a climb here. It's not hard though. All these climbs are probably under about 4 to 5%, but we're turning onto 72nd Street, continuing the climb. And this, you have to note, we only have the southbound lanes. We don't have both sides of the road, but we're still staying on the leftmost lane of that southbound side of the road. We're still continuing the climb. I'm going to climb all the way up 72nd Street till we get to the turn to Bennington. Every so often I'm going to lose that mouse because it is a little quirky to keep up with the video. By the way, you could change the speed of this video. There's a slider down the lower left-hand corner. But there we top out and on to Bennington. And now we've got both lanes of the road again, but still staying on that leftmost lane. And Bennington is a little bit of a rolly. I just lost the cursor there. But again, nothing too difficult. You can see Bennington looks like a nice paved surface. And we're going to come up to some new construction here. I don't think this is going to affect us at all, but it looks like they're building a new bridge. And I think we're going to stay on the same road that I'm showing you here on the video. There's that new construction on the right hand side. We're crossing over the top of Lake Cunningham. You see part of the run course right there, the path around the lake. And I got to note one thing as we get close to the turnaround. I've done my best to make this as accurate as possible, and that means I got the distances exactly at 20 kilometers per loop. But I can't guarantee that this turnaround point is going to be the actual turnaround that's marked on the ground. There's the turnaround, and now we start heading back down Bennington Road. And there we go again. If you ever try this on your own, have a steady hand without too much coffee. And still, again, just a little bit of a rolly course. Nothing too dramatic. And we're going to start a little bit of a climb now. We're going to be going up to that top section of 72nd Street. And again, maybe 3, maybe 4% climb. And we're about ready to top out at 72nd Street here. We're going to make a turn pretty soon. Top of the hill. There we go. And there we are back on 72nd Street. And remember, here we're only on the southbound lane, but we're staying on the left-hand side of that southbound lane. And we've topped out. Bit of a rolly here. And again, not too bad of a gradient. And almost hitting there. We're going to continue that rolly bit until we get back to Lake Cunningham Road again, and then we'll start a gradual descent. And pretty soon we're going to make that turn onto Lake Cunningham Road, a bit of a descent. Staying now on the leftmost lane, even though we have both lanes of use here. And get my cursor back. There we go. And as we continue our descent, we're going to be coming down to the park. And we're almost to the entrance, the park road itself. Going to take that turn onto the park. And we're going to continue down that. And actually up a little bit. We're coming up over the levee and the dam of the reservoir. And down to the transition. And at this point, remember, you're going to continue on for the second lap of the full 40 Ks. But at the end of the second lap, you'll be hitting the dismount line and entering the transition. Well, I hope this is giving you a little bit of a preview of the course, and I do encourage you to use this kind of Google Earth and video tours for the other files that we put in. It really does help you get a good feel for what the course looks like. And best of luck for your race.